listening to some of the pod. You got a really good pod voice, man.
Oh, thanks, dude. I'm definitely more of a radio type of personality. I grew up like being a huge radio nerd.
Yeah, really?
And that was my main influence growing up my whole life. And then I really didn't even get into podcasts like a couple years ago. Yeah. And I only listened to like a handful of them. I'm like, dude, I love it. I love just doing this and, you know, expressing whatever, you know, it's awesome. I have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
But
are you a big Howard Stern fan? And
not so much Howard Stern, more like Rover, like Rover's Morning Glory. I don't know if you get that out in Rochester. No,
I don't think so. Is that Ohio?
I think they are in Rochester on one of the rock stations. I don't know. Yeah, they're on MMS here in Cleveland. Yeah. It's very lame brain, like this, you know. Just I like doing interviews. I like having fun. We did a podcast that went like 6 hours. On my birthday. I just had a ton of people over for a little bit, and it was just kind of people trading on and off. It was chaos having that many people talk at once. It was insane.
Yeah, that's a lot of work for your birthday.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I actually, on top of drinking bourbon and all the terrible food that we had that night, and I got gout for my birthday, so I was unable to walk for like 5 days. I'm not even kidding.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it was insane.
Bourbon and cheese dips and
it's just
podcasts.
all of the good things, all of the things, and that's my 38th birthday for you. So time to slow down on that shit.
Nutrition triangle, you had it all. Funny. That's wild.
Well, yeah, hey, it's your Drive Home Podcast. I'm your Drive Home Podcast host, Ryan. I got here Brian Revels. Is that correct?
Revels.
Man, I should have asked.
No, that's okay. It's like I need to find a new, thing to compare it to, but I would just say it's like Rebels.
Rebels. That's good.
A rebel yell, but
I like that.
Perpetually plural. There's always an S. A lot of folks do the revel.
Yeah.
You know?
I noticed that, and I had to look a couple times back. There is an S. So I don't know any Revels. I can't think of one like actor or anyone with that last name. It's very unique.
What? You know what's crazy? I don't even know any Revels.
Yeah.
I have an aunt who her name's Tammy Revels, but.
Yeah.
My mom's last name was Jackson growing up. My grandma's Scoggins. My great grandma was Phillips.
Yeah.
Literally none of the Revels. My mom's dad was a deadbeat. He was the Revels.
Trying to turn that monitor on for you. I don't know if that worked.
The Samsung here?
Yeah, I don't know if that worked or not, but it's not a big deal. Yeah, and so you're in town playing a show. You were just saying in Akron at a place I'd never heard of. What was the place called again?
The Rialto Theater.
Okay.
Yeah. Brett was there last night.
Who was that?
From Rye Valley.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah, I forgot his name.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they played there last night, I think, on the main stage with some folks. But yeah, I'm doing the living room, little happy hour thing. I'm a sucker for an old theater vibe, so I'm excited to go there.
That sounds cool.
And our gig 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. That was fun.
It was really cool. I've never even been to Ohio before that.
You were telling me that, yeah.
Yeah, don't know anybody from it, so it was really nice to kind of have a warm reception and 20 or 30 folks were hanging out.
Right,
so
yeah,
cool.
and that was at the place that's like normally closed on Sundays, and I don't know, they made it happen. I really enjoyed that show. I had a lot of fun. I said, I was talking to Chrissy Strong, who performed there briefly that night with the other band, and she was like, I was like, that was what was the words I used? I said that it was I had such a good time. I didn't mind that there was a big crowd there, because it was like performing in front of a room full of musicians. It wasn't, you know what I mean? It was, I still had a great time.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, I love a bill with some bands on it, because if nothing else, you have warm bodies in the room.
Right, exactly.
If it's like a bill with like 3 songwriters,
exactly.
it's just like
it
you
sucks.
3 hoping that one of their friends or mom comes. You know,
Right.
it's tough to be like a relatively unknown indie artist and like trying out new markets and
Yeah.
shit. But
Yeah.
it's what it takes.
Yeah, it is. That's true. Yeah, we my band, The Morning Bird, we had a pretty good reputation in Cleveland here until the pandemic. We had a pretty good following, actually. Like, people came out to see us, and it's like, once that hit, like, everything ended. It was insane.
Yeah, the pandemic, it made everybody realize how much they love being at home.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and then all of the home services went beast mode. You know, Amazon leveled up, Netflix, all of them got their game together.
Yep.
And now after the fact, you know, your Taylor Swift or Run the Jewels tickets are going to be $500. That's going to tap out your concert budget for
Right.
the year. So it's hard to get folks out. But honestly, a lot of these gigs, a lot of these shows we got, they're $10 and $15. That's less than your Spotify subscription.
Right.
You know, it's a good night on the town. So I do think people will slowly start filling up rooms again. But
yeah.
I think we're seeing more of a lag than most industries.
That's true. Yeah. I think it might be for us just the gigs that we get, the places that we
Right.
played. Like, we played a place, Punch Bowl Social. It's just not our scene at all. Downtown, like,
Oh yeah.
it just was not. It was more of like it was more of an urban scene. You know, it just wasn't us. You know what I mean? It just wasn't.
Wasn't the Americana vibe.
Yeah, that wasn't what they were wanting. You could tell from the music that was played in between. It was just it wasn't really our bag, but it was a fun experience. Something I don't want to do again, but it was
Dude.
crazy. Like $20 to park downtown, and like they paid us pretty well, but man, like
Damn.
yeah, it's in the flats. Yeah, there's really,
$20 is almost enough to pay someone to circle the block for an hour.
Right. Seriously, it's crazy. Yeah, the flats used to be cool, man. I don't know how old are you?
I am 35.
Okay,
I'll
you're a
be
couple years younger than me.
36.
So yeah. Back in the day, the flats were awesome. It was a lot of dive bars, a lot of venues. The Odeon, which is like the main venue down there, it's a big stage. It closed for a while, then they reopened. I want to say right before the pandemic. They probably closed again. But
yeah.
I remember playing as a teenager. We had a thing called High School Rock Off, and if you were like in a rock band in high school, you could play this thing. It was fun. It was,
Like a battle of the bands.
Yeah, basically. Yeah,
Sick.
it was basically like School of Rock type of thing.
Yeah.
But
Shit is always changing. All the neighborhoods. I was in Atlanta for 10 years and definitely saw every single neighborhood like shift
yeah,
to a different thing. It's tough to adapt, but to that experience thing you were talking about, it's like that's kind of what I'm in it for. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So if I go and I'm on a bill with like spoken word, death metal, and hip hop, and then I'm playing, like, I'm just like,
yeah.
hell yeah.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
This is
I do like the fusion stuff. I like festival type stuff.
some
Obviously.
genre bending.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I don't think that's what I was alluding to so much with that whole experience. I think it was mostly just, it was like down in the flats. This is like a club atmosphere.
Right,
It
the
just
crowd
did not. We did
expectations.
not fit it.
You
It
hate
just
it.
wasn't it.
Nothing sucks worse than having to play a gig, and every gig, even some of the best ones, you're like, it feels like work today.
Right,
Sometimes.
exactly.
And then to look out at an audience who's like, I wish you weren't playing too.
Right,
You're
right.
like, fuck. That's hard.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's just Cleveland. Like, man, it's just the scene out here. It's just not the best. And you know, I've been playing in Cleveland my whole life, and it's, you know, it's just it's gotten worse. There's been times where it was great. There are some great venues here. I'm not talking bad about Cleveland or anything, but you know, it's I don't know. It seems like you got these pages like from Cleveland.com that I follow on Instagram or whatever, and they show all that's happening. But it seems like there's so much competition with all the bars and venues. There's like a new bar every few months, it seems, trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's basically just another We actually just had a big thing happen here locally. You probably heard it in the news. It was the guy that owns City Hall restaurant in the Flats. You probably don't know about this. You're not from here, but he owns a bunch of these, and he's like restaurants that are really, really popular amongst like, millennials, Gen Zs type young adults.
Right.
And he just got popped for all types of crazy like abuse stuff with his spouse, and like I guess he has mafia ties and all this stuff with his family. So it's like it runs deep. Like I probably shouldn't even talk about it on here. Actually, now that I think about it, because they might come for me. Because
this might be your last drive home,
right? Right. Yeah, it runs deep. It runs deep.
You headed for cement shoes,
right?
You gotta look out.
Yeah, man.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, did you know the guy at all? Are you like, you know what? Probably had it coming.
I didn't know the guy. The guy's just well known in Cleveland as like a
restaurateur type.
Basically, yeah. And he owned
wig.
many very popular, like upper class restaurants. It was just a bombshell. Like, so maybe.
Did those places close and shit?
Oh yeah, there's been protests outside of them. It's been a big deal. It's probably been in mainstream media. It was a big deal. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been crazy, but.
Hopefully,
maybe they'll open some good venues or something. I don't know. It's crazy.
They're fighting the same fight. We are filling rooms post-COVID.
Yeah.
This shit. It's a weird world, but
it is.
But I still, I enjoyed my first Ohio venture. I'd like to keep it going, especially just 4 hours from home, 4 hours from Rochester.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I'd love to keep coming back. Yeah.
I've never been to Rochester.
It's a cool city, man. There's a couple of colleges. It's got a great little downtown, but you're never like in bumper to bumper traffic. Really,
yeah.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's a good size. There's plenty of parks and green space.
Wow.
And,
it's hard to imagine for me, because the only time I've been to New York was I went to New York City. All that stuff is just completely different. I'm sure a different experience.
Oh
altogether.
my God, it's not even close. We're closer to Canada, than New York.
Oh, okay.
New York's twice as far
I see.
from us as here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like a 7.5 hour drive to get into the city. Very different life.
Yeah.
No, Rochester has like the best like single family home prices right now in the country. So
really?
Yeah, it's not skyscrapers and 1,000 unit apartment buildings and shit.
Right. Yeah. I didn't think so.
Yeah.
But.
I got a parking ticket in New York City.
Oh yeah.
I still need to pay. They actually hit me twice. They hit me with the parking ticket and not having my front tag on, which was in the car. I just I don't have the screws to put it on. So that was like, it was $65 each. So I owe New York City $130 now.
That sucks. That sucks.
It felt very New York, So I was
right.
I was like, hell yeah, I did New York. That was another just small, crazy gig. But I built up sort of a network and a following in Atlanta for like 10 years. And so I appreciate starting over. I don't like expect people to be in the rooms up here, because I've never been there before, so I'm like, I've done this once before, I can survive it again. Got to check out the open mics, got to start from the bottom, get out there and meet folks.
So you say you've done this before. So how long have you been doing music altogether?
I started playing guitar when I was 16, kind of immediately started writing songs. I always wrote a lot. And then played my first gig at like 18 probably.
Yeah.
And I've just been going for it,
nice,
as full steam as I can.
Yeah.
Nonstop with a couple of big life change. I did the waiting tables playing music thing for like 10 years. And then went back to school for advertising and switched into a much cushier sort of career. Now I get to work from home and shit, which is cool. I still wish I was doing music just full time.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks to be at something for this long and not be there yet, but it comes with the territory. And like, I would just die if I quit.
Yeah.
I would just wither away and
Yeah.
fucking. And like we don't even drink anymore.
Okay.
You know, so I wouldn't even have a bottle to put all those feelings into. So I'm gonna keep going no matter what.
So you got your fiance here.
Yep.
I know she's
Jenna
over there
Robinson,
taking photos,
soon to
but
be Revels.
yeah, I got you.
I'm here to vandalize your fucking pod studio. I want you to know that. Just kidding. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, I had another mic here. I didn't know she was wanting to talk or not, but it's up to you.
Do you want to jump in here? Jump in the convo? That's my beautiful fiance. She likes to get work done in the downtime when she can. She's always my little documentarian. We're getting married next May down in Georgia. That'll be cool.
Congrats, that's awesome.
Yeah. We actually met on Twitter, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was cool. I was living in Chicago. We're both in advertising.
Okay.
And pre-Elon Musk purchase, advertising Twitter was, there was a lot of conversation going on there. I did a lot of like networking just by meeting people on there. It was like better than LinkedIn for that community at the time. And so we started following each other. And I was always looking. Not always looking, but I always noticed when her profile picture scrolled past,
Yeah.
And then one day she said, do any of my Twitter friends want to show me around a new city? And I was living in Chicago, and I was like, I kind of just got here, and I don't even know where to show you, but absolutely, come on, we'll figure it out together. And like 6 weeks later, she came out, and we had a date that lasted 3 days long, and then about 4 months later, I broke the lease in Chicago and moved to Rochester.
Nice.
Yep. And we moved into a house together January 1st of last year. So going on 2 years. We got sober together September 2nd on Monday. That'll be 2 years.
That's awesome, dude. I love that.
And I mean, California sober. We
Yeah.
held marijuana.
I meant to ask. Yeah. I know your time is limited once again, but
yeah, and plus if I get stoned before a show.
Oh, the worst. So when you're the drummer or when you're
self-aware.
anything else, I feel like it's okay. But if you're singing and you're the whole show, absolutely not. No. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, dude. I'll be having 14 different conversations in my head while trying to sing a song,
Right, absolutely.
One's like, why are you doing that with your foot? You shouldn't have dressed like this. That person's ordering chicken wings and asking what kind of beer they have.
Right.
Did I lock the car? Like,
right. All of that.
It's
all of that.
nonstop.
Right. Is the stove on? Yeah. All of it. Yeah.
And then I just start songs in the second verse and things like that. Just
that's a
it's
mess.
not the best. I keep them for, don't tell any cops, but roadies.
Yeah.
Like to take a roadie with me,
Yeah, for sure.
on the way down,
Yep.
way back. I'm a rebel. I'm a Revels.
Hey, whatever. It's
Revels,
legal. Whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just come on. I mean,
Right?
It's not federally legal, but it's it's legal enough here. We there's a place called the Dispensary right up the street from here.
Yeah.
And it just in Ohio, I think a couple weeks ago, it became what is it? Recreationally legal. Just a few weeks
Nice.
ago. So that place is hot. It used to be like just 1 or 2 cars out there. It is
Right.
packed out there all the time now. It's crazy.
Dude, all these people that opened like a CBD shop in some places when their local laws shift, they'll be ready to rake it the fuck in.
Yeah.
And that's why, it's already being so well monetized. I'm like, yeah, your cannabis is fine for capitalism. You guys are definitely like the dominoes are already falling.
Right. Yeah.
Which is cool. I think that's good, man, because folks should not be going to jail for fucking 10 years about having some weed in their car and shit.
No way. Absolutely not.
Not when, if I drink a handle of vodka, I'll rob a bank with you.
Yeah.
Like I will do bad things. There's no amount of weed that'll get me there, though.
So was that your main poison? Was alcohol? It just was.
I'm probably like it just it became a regular thing, and honestly both of us are pretty functional, like we could have probably gone the rest of our lives without it, but we could not have maintained this relationship with it. I think a good relationship is sort of a mirror to yourself. They don't just like accept all your bullshit and your flaws and your bad habits and things. And I appreciate that, and I have this like never ending yearning for growth and getting better and stuff. And plus, you know, I got a song called California Sober that says I got a PhD in misery, undergrad at getting high. And that's like, it's kind of how I feel. Like I got drunk for the first time at like 12. And, you know, I've done it so much. I know every way that it goes. And I'm like, I had that experience. It's cool. I'm good with that. I'm going to figure out, you know, why I couldn't sit still at home without the booze. Why I said these were my goals, but I allowed going out to the bar 4 days a week to ruin my chances at reaching them. You know, I want to meet those parts of myself and kind of untangle all that shit so I can get somewhere. And, you know, it sounds really stupid and gay in the 90s way, but I want to, you know, love myself more fully and be able to give that love to other people more fully. And man, the booze it allowed me to never ever do that. It allows me to stay kind of hidden from myself, which I don't want. You know, it's my only life, so I want to dig in there deep, get all the messy bullshit, you know, and overcome it so it's not making decisions for me. You know?
That's true. That's good, man. I like that.
I wish I were the kind of person who could have 3, call it a night, things like that, but I'm really not. And after like 6 or 7, then my second most favorite thing, cocaine, becomes like my main goal of the night, you know? So I would just rather stay away. But it's fucking boring, dude.
Right.
It's so boring being off alcohol. And we have both struggled with that. And, you know, we've had to learn new ways around it. Because, like, I don't know, man, if that's your way to have fun for 15 or 20 years, then if you cut that out, it's like, how the hell did I have fun before booze? Like, what do we like to do? Should we talk about that? Do we like to do things? Do we need hobbies? I don't know. Like, so I definitely increased the amount of marijuana intake to help with that. And I don't mean it like it was like a great idea. I just mean like I felt like I had to. But then also I've been able to go after those goals of mine a little more consistently. You know what I mean? And show up in a better way. We've got a soon to be 8-year-old as well, you know, and I just don't want to. I'm not trying to bring that trash into the thing because booze on me, it gets pretty trashy, you know. I definitely do not yuck anybody else's yums. I don't mind being in bars at gigs. I don't mind other people.
That's the kind of thing. That's
drunk.
The questions I have. Like, do you know who Chrissy Strong is?
I remember her being at the show and singing with Rye Valley, but I don't think we ever spoke or anything.
Yeah, she was on here one time, and she was very transparent about her struggles with crack, actually.
No kidding.
And like heavy stuff, like some of the craziest stories. It was great. I had no idea. Like, I didn't know her that well. I just knew her. Like, definitely check that out. Episode's called I forget what it's called, but it's one of the first episodes of the season.
Smoking Crack with Chrissy Strong.
Something like that.
Go drive home.
She is great. She is very talented vocalist, actress. I think she's on a Netflix movie or somewhere in there. Yeah, she's awesome, and she really didn't get her life together until she was like in her 40s. Like, I want to say,
wow,
yeah, like late 30s or 40 or whatever, and that's where she just really flourished. And she's like, well, I spent a lot of time smoking crack. Like, I couldn't do anything. It was funny, but like it was kind of I felt for her, but she put it in a funny way, you know. Yeah. It was definitely want to have her back on here this season, but
that makes me think of a Dave Attell joke that's like, I like smoking because I know what I'm not gonna do, like run. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
You're smoking crack, you know you're not gonna worry about that cell phone bill,
right?
Or those groceries. You're not gonna mow the lawn, man. You got crack to smoke. You
right,
know?
right.
You know, it really takes a lot.
He's great. I saw.
I have smoked crack. I will not sit here like I am not above it. But when I was a kid, I tried it a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. So that's interesting to me. That's like I never.
Take out just that clip, by the way. And use it. I have smoked crack.
That's gonna be the next reel. Yeah. That's gonna. Definitely. No. That's interesting to me. That's like the kind of stuff I've never been around. Like I've never been around that. Actually, I take that back. I have, but it just never interests me. Like I kind of got to like what I like a couple drinks, you know. Beyond that, like, and people say that's like weed's a gateway drug into other things. I don't believe that. At least that's not been my experience.
In 1999.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. It's, I just, I don't know. It's just something I've never been around a lot. Maybe at a party, and that's about it. But yeah, it's just interesting to me, and that's why I know you were talking about your at the show. You mentioned all this a little bit about being sober and stuff. So I'm glad you're open to talk about that, because it's always interesting to me to hear those stories.
Dude, I'm too ready to go for a deep emotional dive on most days. It's actually one of my probably most annoying character flaws. I will talk to a stranger on the street about my sobriety journey or abandonment wounds or whatever. But honestly, I think more of a gateway thing for me was like reading Hunter S. Thompson and watching, you know, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas and shit. And because there was a long time after I grew up Baptist, and so after I got out of my church thing, stopped agreeing with, and I was never like a goody good church kid, but I did go a lot, and, you know, let it set some of my moral limits and shit. Yeah. And after I kind of got to the end of that, which was like kind of late in high school, I just took on this thing where like I was like, I'll try anything one time, like at all. But I did not go out looking for crack or like see people smoking out of a light bulb and be like, hey, could I try that? I actually you know, I was more of a cocaine user. Yeah. Even in like 9th and 10th grade. And I worked at a Johnny's Pizza in Winder, and one of the pizza cooks there, Jimmy, invited us back to his house. It was like me and my buddy Dylan, and then he had a roommate named Al. It was actually Al's mom's house. They lived in the basement. And Al was this really cool dude. We ended up getting along better with Al than Jimmy. And they would get really good cocaine, and Al would cook his and make the crack, you know, and inevitably, and me and Al became good buddies. It got to be where we would just like hang out and do drugs together and stay up late, talk about God and death and just everything. Al was like a really interesting guy. He had caught himself on fire when he was like 13, huffing paint. Holy and so shit. Most of his body was covered in scars.
Oh my God.
And he was also a cook at a different restaurant. But he was just a cool guy. He was probably like 10 years, 11 years older than me. And I would always run out of coke before he ran out of crack. But by then we were like all bonded and shit in that like high. And so he'd let me hit his crack pipe, which I would never turn down, because once I ran out of coke, just sadness started filling my bones. You know what I mean? That's the people that joke that like the way cocaine makes you feel is that you want more cocaine. That's
what I've heard.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. It's like, sure, you get a little talkative, you get a little whatever, but after you've done it a lot, like it just makes you feel like you want more, and you're just looking forward to the next one. So it's It's a creepy high.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, and then the next day you just like totally want to kill yourself. It's like there's no serotonin left. Everything hurts.
Yeah.
You drank like 3 of you, because
Yeah.
the cocaine keeps you alert, keeps you awake, and just keeps you going like that, man. I know I've killed 40 beers, 50 beers in a night, a night that started at like 6 p.m. and went to 6 a.m.,
Yeah. Man.
Tough times. I'm lucky to be alive.
Yeah,
some of them.
I'm gonna say, man. Yeah, that's 40 beers. I don't think I've ever came close to that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so something with me. I actually have a lot of health issues. I've talked about on here a bunch of times. In 2016, I had a kidney transplant.
No way.
Yeah, like my kidneys were really bad, like my whole life, and it got to the point where I just was on dialysis, and it was rough. So in 2016, had a kidney transplant. So I really just can't do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
more playing with fire than
exactly.
even just...
So as far as alcohol goes, it's really, I really should I should never drink, but like I was mentioning earlier, on my birthday, we were going hard down here. I wasn't even, and it was funny, I wasn't even drinking that much. So that was like kind of like a wake up call for me. Like, dude, like that was 8 years ago. Probably need to, make some better choices the older you get.
Yeah.
And that's just getting older, man. I mean, you want to, like you said earlier, you want to live, you only got one life to live, it's you don't want to fuck it up trying to, be like Chris Farley or anyone else. It's like,
I want a good balance,
Right.
I don't want to live to be 101 and have
Right.
never done anything.
right.
But I also don't want to keep doing all these things I like to do that take days and weeks off my life. You know what I mean? I don't want to die
Yeah.
at 50.
It's a crap show, man. My grandfather's 96, and he drank his whole life until he was like 70 something, and
Yeah.
he's still living. And he's
Damn.
Puerto Rican, and he's just he's 20. He's 96 going on 26. It's just insane.
Damn.
How spry he is, and mentally spry he is, and he keeps the checkbook still. And
I'm sure he has half the microplastics in his brain that we do,
Right.
Being that old, he just got the cleaner stuff. My great grandma, she made it to almost 90 and grew up on a tobacco farm, smoking. Since she was like
smoking
9.
cigarettes.
Yeah, and she was an alcoholic and still managed.
Crazy.
So yeah. Hopefully we got some of that in us,
Right,
so
yeah.
we'll hang on.
They were built different back then, that's for sure.
Yeah, no
they were
shit.
built different, but yeah, man. I know you said you had to get going around like close to 4, right? Something like that.
Yeah,
I forget
I can
what you
probably
said.
do like 10 more minutes.
That's cool.
And then we'll
So what time's
chat.
the show start tonight?
I'm actually playing at 5. It's like the
Okay, your
happy
opening?
hour show.
Okay.
Well, it's like the living room is like a smaller stage, maybe
Okay.
kind of out front, and then they have like a main room
Okay.
with a bigger stage, and that looks like a good show. We've got to rush home, to let our dogs out, but that show, I don't know if they're locals, but it's Cliffs, Kaleidoscope, and Sea of Ghosts is the main show. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm not, it's Labor Day weekend, so who fucking knows? Either way,
I think people will show up.
yeah, I think I said this at I don't know if you were there yet or not, but at the Tree Lawn show, I was like, worst case scenario, we all hang out and play some music. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
That's basically what we did.
exactly.
That was it.
I know.
It's funny. We were I was talking to Chrissy about that show. It's funny how like when you get to a show and no one knows each other, and it's almost like everyone kind of has like, I don't know, they're trying to keep their cool points up or something. I don't know, it's weird. But then by the end of the night, it's almost like I'm sad I won't see these people probably ever again, or for a very long time, if anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So concerts are always such an interesting experience, like from the moment you get there to the moment you leave. And I don't normally, being the drummer in the Morning Bird, I don't normally stay the entire time just because it's like so much work, lugging your stuff in,
Oh my god.
playing, tearing down. Dude, by the time I take all my stuff to my car, I'm ready to go home and hit the shower.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do like hanging, and especially if there's no one there, to at least support the band. There's been times I'll stick around, but you know, for the
Yeah.
most part, man, I'm done. I'm wiped out after all that, you know.
Yeah,
But-
it's musicianship can really feel like a young man's game when it comes to that sort of shit,
Oh,
man.
for sure.
Because like, really, an indie musician, you know, who leaves before the open mic is done or leaves before the show is done, like, you know, it's not. That's not the it's not a way to keep those connections.
No,
it's
it
not a way
isn't.
to grow
No.
what you're doing. But then, you know, you hit an age where you've got an 8 a.m. work call
Right.
and fucking it's a balance, man. We drove to Pittsburgh and back on Wednesday for a gig and got home at like 4 a.m. and just more or less spent the whole next day in the bed. Like,
Yeah,
I worked, but we did not leave the house.
Dude, yeah, that's how I feel. I'll wake up the next day and I sleep in. I'm just wiped out. Especially like we'll play like that. That was a Sunday night. I had to work the next day.
Yeah,
Like,
same.
dude, I want to say I was late. I don't know. I can't remember. Either that or I had taken off. I can't remember. Sometimes I do that. I'll just take the next day off
Yeah.
because I know I'm out of commission and I'm no good. So, yeah, it's it can be rough, but it is fun playing. There's a lot of times where we'll play a gig with someone from out of town. Again, no one shows. You know, we're all working. We all got jobs here. We're local. We'll just give the money to whoever's, you know, playing because it's.
You guys
You know
did
what I mean?
that at the Tree Lawn.
I think that we did do that.
We
I'm
made
not
a
trying to brag
small-
about it or anything.
No. It's brag worthy though, man. It's really really fucking cool of you guys. Because,
I mean, you're splitting hairs when it's a crowd that size. I mean, it's
right. Yeah. Either we all take $28,
right.
and yeah, you guys split it amongst 4
Right.
band members.
Yeah.
No, that was so fucking kind of you guys, and definitely went directly into my gas tank and
Yeah.
helped me get home and,
For
and
sure,
shit.
yeah.
At this level, to travel, really at all, but especially as far as some of my shows have been.
Yeah.
Like I was in Asheville before that, losing money.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? It's like, but it's all in the service of creation, and I feel like eventually the momentum will come. I try to remind myself, like, you feel like you've been doing it for 20 years, but you just spent 3 years moving around the fucking country,
Yeah.
shut down with COVID.
Right.
Like, you're not 20 years of touring,
Right.
you
That's
know?
true.
So pipe down, ego.
Yeah, it's almost like this is like a passion project of mine. Doing this, I've put a lot of money into like the lighting and just getting things sounding right and looking right, and I'm like, dude, I spend so much money. I'm like, but well, it's because you want it to be a certain way and look a certain way.
Yeah.
It's a passion project. It's not. It's an investment. Every little thing, down to buying water or anything, is an investment to me. You know, it's. You got to look at it that way. I don't expect
Same.
this thing to blow up or anything, but if it does, cool. If I can make some money, which I really haven't.
I feel
But-
exactly the same way on that investment tip. It's like, there's a saying, you know, if opportunity knocks, he'd like to find you working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's true, man. And if we don't have passion about it, why the fuck would anybody else
Right.
be excited by it? You know?
So true.
yeah.
Man.
It's and man, I'm listening to like this finance book right now, like
Mhm.
because obviously I'm a musician, so I don't have the best finances set up. But also I just come from a long line of white trash. You know, we meant well, but we also like buried our cash in shoeboxes in the backyard. You know what I mean?
Cousin Eddie, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I am like thinking about investments, but then I weigh those against that never-ending list of new mic stands, cables,
Yeah.
studio equipment, and all that shit. So
Yeah, I have no problem spending money on drum stuff. The other day I bought like all new drum heads. Haven't switched
Nice.
them out yet, but I'm like, it's like new guitar strings or anything else. It's just nice. You know what I mean? Like it's fresh.
right.
I don't know.
It's the investment that you're
Right.
talking about, man. I mean,
Yeah. And then I can't get rid of any of this stuff. I have so many guitars I cannot get rid of. Like,
Yeah.
I would love to make some money, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, it has not so much sentimental value. I just like all my gear. I just like,
Yeah.
I see people all the time on Facebook Market that like friends of mine on Facebook that are selling their stuff. I'm like, dude, I don't know their situation, but
You're like, I'll take that off your hands.
Right, seriously, but I don't know their situation or anything, but like, it's just heartbreaking because like I feel bad. I feel spoiled because I won't let anything go. Anything.
Really?
Like, now, obviously, if I came to the point financially where I needed to, but like, it's I don't know.
Is that a compulsion? Is that something you need to work out?
Oh, dude, I bought. Okay, so this is my studio kit, and then the kit I used at that show, complete compulsion purchase. I was at a place in Youngstown, Ohio, called the Eastwood. Actually, it was Niles, Ohio, called the Eastwood Mall. They had a small music shop called, I forget what it was called. It was so small. Hubbard Music. And there's also a Hubbard Music in PA, in Hubbard, PA. But this was also inside the Eastwood Mall in Niles, Ohio. And I was like, I just loved the way they look, and they were only like $5.99.
Nice.
So I'm like, okay, and like I'm like, can I play them? Can I like? So they set them up, and I was like, dude, these sound great, and they're very low, like lightweight. So I bought them, and I use them, but I didn't need to. I already had drums. You know what I mean? But I like them. Whatever.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I'd say do it. Well, my saving grace in those situations, because I feel that way every time I walk into any music store.
It's rough.
And I checked out one in NYC, which like the cheapest thing in there was like $3,000. But
oh my god.
My saving grace is that I never have that $5.99 to spend. Otherwise, I might.
Oh, I think I opened a credit card or something. This is what I'm saying.
Oh,
yeah. I like. Hey, you guys got like a gear card or anything like that? Yeah, yeah, sure, yeah. That's how. That's how.
You're like, we'll make this happen.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah, we will do this. Yes.
Dude,
right.
More power to you, though. Honestly.
Whatever. I look at it like I'm gonna be doing music, as long as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a problem in investing in things, and buying gear, whatever. That mic right there was like, I'm gonna say like $400.
This room mic here?
Yeah. It's
Shit.
It is a Sennheiser 4 something, whatever. It came from Germany.
Wow.
So it
Top
was,
tier.
it was, it's pretty nice. It's very refined. I found using like a room mic really helps, especially when you have a lot of people here.
That's
whatever.
one of my, the guy that records all of my band stuff, Damon, he's got a place down in Atlanta called Standard Electric Recorders Company. Beautiful studio. It's like an old church converted, but I didn't even know room mics were a thing until like this year. And seeing like the role that it played in recording, I was like, fuck, I gotta get a room mic.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
It's everything, especially for live recordings. You want to get the audience and for laughs and everything. I mean, everyone does room mics. It's if it's done right, it can be a good thing. But
it takes off that sheen that mastering and stuff adds.
Yeah.
That allows you, not even just mastering, but just like real crisp recording where you've quantized everything and you've taken out every mistake. Like it just starts to feel a little bland, it starts to feel a little personality-less.
It gives it more of a live, or maybe like it was played together even though it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You feel like, because we're used to hearing the acoustics of a room.
Right.
So when you hear it in the recording, you're like, I'm in the room with them. But if all that's been smoothed out, you're kind of just like...
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, it's nice, crispy music. But you don't feel like in it like that.
Right.
But
I know you got to get out of here, but I appreciate you coming and driving the extra 30 minutes or so over to near Cleveland, near the soon-to-be home of the Cleveland Browns. I don't know if you heard that. That's going to be moving to Brook Park.
Really?
Allegedly. I don't know. Well, we'll see. That's been the rumor for like the past year. The guy, the owner or whatever, he's big property. It's already roped off.
Sorry to
So this
ask
is Brook Park.
Is this your house?
This is my house, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Well, that'll be great for your
dude. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Value.
I don't know what I'm gonna do, but it's really gonna help my property value. I closed on this house at a great 119, right before the pandemic.
Wow,
dude, it was the perfect timing. That's all I can say.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Well, if they build that thing,
it was awesome. And I've just been doing updates. Just did the front yard, updated that, de-weeded, trying to make it look a little. This house is from the 60s, I think. So I just got like a new new furnace. I've spent so much money.
Oh, damn.
But I've lived here for 4 years, and that was the first major thing that went out was the furnace. So
Yeah.
it's a big thing, but I knew something was coming. Usually every year when you own a home,
Yeah.
no pressure to you guys. I know you guys. You just said you're new homeowners, right? So
No, we're renting. We
you're
moved
renting.
in together
Okay,
a couple
never
of years
mind.
ago. We
Okay.
probably rented enough to have put down a
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
payment.
saying, dude. I was living in Lakewood, and my rent was the same as my mortgage. It's insane.
yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, well, fucking now that window's pretty much closed. Now mortgages are
It's up. Yeah.
are way up.
Yeah.
You know, so we're chilling
crazy.
on our rent. We have an amazing house. Like
That's
we
good.
fucking love it so much. And our our landlords are not keen on selling it. We're like, what if we? And they're like, probably not.
Yeah. No way. They can make way too much money off of it.
Yeah, I think they even want to move into it at some point. But
Gotcha. But yeah, man. Well, thank you again for being here.
Absolutely,
You
man. Thanks
wanna
for having me.
Plug anything? Instagram? Any shows coming up you want to plug? Or?
Yeah. Well, we've got 2 relatively new singles out. Everywhere you listen to your singles. One's called All the Gold, and one is called Anywhere with You. Anywhere with You was the first song that Jenna and I ever recorded together, which was great. And we recorded it down in Atlanta with the band and Damon, who I just mentioned.
Nice.
And she came down to document everything, and she's working real hard, working for free. And I was I felt bad to ask her to do something else.
Yeah.
But like on the 5th out of 5 days, like 30 minutes before we left, I was like, what if you sang on this chorus? I really think it would. And I'm so glad I did, because it sounds fucking incredible. And
Nice.
Yeah, it was really kind of a dream come true.
And you guys have like a little thing together too. You're musically.
We do, yeah. It's actually named after our home, sort of the street we live on. It's called Greenhaven.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a little folk duo. And we got a lot of original stuff in the works, but we're also doing sort of a cover band thing, playing a lot of the Rochester area breweries and bars and shit. It's been a lot of fun.
Right on. I like that.
But other than the Rialto Theater tonight, I've just got some upstate New York shows coming up. A Monday, for some terrible reason, I've decided to play Toronto, Canada. So I'll be at Drum Taberna then. I just wish it wasn't Monday. I'm excited to play Toronto. I'm excited to play a gig. I just wish I wouldn't have booked a Monday.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not too keen on the weekday shows either, but that's all good.
It sounds good when you're booking. You're like, yes, another date locked in, and then you get up to the logistics of it, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to like take a half day off work and drive till 4 a.m.
Man,
But it'll be good. Hopefully, I'll see some folks there.
And it's Brian Revels
Brian Revels.
Music on Instagram, right?
That's it.
Awesome.
And all the other places. Thanks, Ryan.
Love it, dude. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, man.
All right, I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, brother.
All right, later. Hey, thanks again for joining us on Your Drive Home podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the show. And also don't forget to follow us on all of our social medias. We will talk to you guys soon. Until then, drive safe.